Let's see. Suit dismissed over patient data sharing by Google, University of Chicago. All right, so this is news because I think as people start to dig into this, and you can go after Google with Google and their partners for the medical record stuff. But I think as you start to dig into this, what you're going to realize is they're following all the right procedures and protocols. They knew this was going to happen. There's people, when you generally say, hey, my health system's sharing data with Google, you have this immediate visceral reaction. Oh my gosh, somebody's going to be able to search for fill in the blank disease, and they're going to, a picture of me is going to pop up in the search. Those two data stores couldn't be further apart if you tried. If any of that Google data, if any of that medical data shows up in a Google search, more than likely it came from the health system. There was a breach of the health system and it's being shared that way. There's very little chance that the stuff that's being shared with Google Health is going to end up in the search. So anyway, this suit was dismissed. I would imagine this will, push back on anybody else who's thinking about going after them, saying, hey, I didn't give them permission to share my data with Google. We'll see what happens. We'll see how this pans out. Other big news for Google is the push by the federal government. I don't know if I have a story in here on that. I don't. But anyway, so the federal government going after Google for anti-competitive practices. I believe, again, this is Bill Russell's opinion, but I believe we're going to see at least one tech breakup in the next 5 years, in the next 4 years. 4 or 5 years, we'll see a tech breakup. And I think Google is the most likely candidate for that. Their search capabilities at this point make them a likely target. They are the Rockefeller of search, right? So John Rockefeller had a monopoly on oil back in the day when oil was everything, and search and data and information is everything today. And we joke about Dr. Google. Most health visits start with a visit to Google search. And that's true. That's true across the board. Somebody once told me, I think it was Aaron Martin once said to me, the check that Amazon hates, that Jeff Bezos hates writing the most every time he turns around is that check to Google, because he has to get positioned on Google for the placement of Amazon goods and services. Amazon doesn't stand on its own. Even as big as Amazon is, they have to put money on the altar of Google to make sure that they are not forgotten. And Google has that kind of power right now. So it'll be interesting to see how this federal government going after and really looking at the competitive practices of Google.